Someone's mic is. Someone's mic is on, I think. So, Dr. Pranav, we can start the session so that I think we have around 34 people now. So, everyone will be joining us. Mostly, we can start now.
Right. Shall I begin
Yes, yes,
or
yes.
do we
Yes,
want to
yes,
wait
yes.
for a few more minutes?
Yes, a few minutes means we can 2 minutes we can wait. 2 more minutes we can wait.
Sure.
Mostly people will come in between and go, so we are usually getting this much of crowd.
Oh,
So
okay. This is the average class
yes, it's
size.
average 34 people out there. So can start.
Right. Okay. Okay. So thank you for having me here, and it's so nice to see all of you. It's a very kind initiative of yours. Warm greetings from Taylor and Francis Group. I hope most of you have a fair understanding about Taylor and Francis. If not, I am happy to share that Taylor and Francis is one of the leading publisher brand of the world, and we have a significant portfolio with more than 3,000 journals in all the subject areas, including humanities, social sciences, life sciences, earth science, drug discoveries, one of the major subject area. We have more than 15 journals in this particular area itself. We have 300 journals in medicine. We have 200 plus journals in pharmaceutical branches, plus life sciences, medicine, physical sciences, all the branches. We have significant journals, books, ebooks, open access, all the kind of segments are there. The purpose of coming here was to interact with you all. I wanted to know what type of queries you have related to publishing. I have a very small presentation related to how to select the journal because, as per my experience, this is the biggest concern of the research scholars that they do submit in international peer-reviewed journals, but most of the time it get either rejected or there are multiple changes or multiple suggestions coming. It delays their submission and publication process. So, if you have any questions, please you can type in the chat box. I'll be happy to take them. And um, Dr. Korean, how much time do we have to for the presentation? If you can.
We can take 15 to 20 minutes. Okay,
All right.
15 to 20 minutes.
So I'm just sharing a brief presentation
Yes, yes, yes.
about.
Please.
Can you share? Can you see my screen?
Yes, yes.
Is it
Yes.
submitting to the right journal?
Yes,
This
yes, yes.
is
Yes,
the
yes.
this is the screen that I'm sharing.
It's a visible. It's visible.
Uh,
It's visible. So
okay. So this presentation is usually done by Victoria Babbitt. She's the director of research development outreach.
can you
I
go to
am
slideshow?
today.
Slideshow.
Um, is it visible?
It's visible, but can you make it in a slideshow? It will be better.
Right.
Yes, yes. Now it's.
Okay, great. So the number one reason, as per my experience in Darren Francis and other, is you submit to the wrong journal. This is the very first reason of rejecting any research, rejecting any article. What happens is when, so you must have you people must know about the processes of any research publication, and Whenever you publish into a journal, when you submit your research in a journal, it goes to a number of people, a very small number of people who see the abstract, see that and matches it with the scope of the journal. And if it is not matching, they reject it from the very first step. It is not sent to peer review. So it get rejected from the very first step. That is, it is not matching with the scope of the journal. So the idea, the theme of this conversation with you is, I just wanted to guide you how to select the right journal, which is somewhere I believe related with the kind of studies you are doing or the kind of academic profession you have. And please feel, I am not able to see the questions, so we can take it in the later part, but you can put it in the chat box if you have it. The agenda of this presentation would be the introduction, how to find journals, assessing the quality, choosing a good fit, and which is a current hot issue, that is predatory publishing. So this is the publishing landscape for today. There are more than 10,000 publishers right now in the world. 5,000 plus are indexed in Scopus. Scopus, you all must know. Scopus is a directory where in India or even in the world, it is something which is believed to have a very authentic journal. There are around 7 to 9 million researchers around the world, 33,000 active English language peer reviewed journals, out of which Taylor and Francis has more than 4,000. Uh, there is a great increase in the research and development investment, and overall, more than 3 million articles get published in a year. So, this is a landscape of publishing these days. Where do you find a journal? How to find a journal? Before you start, what you need to know is you need to understand your current topic, current project, what kind of audience you want, the type of content you have in the journal. There are some some journals accept articles which are original research, some accept literature review, some have, there are journals which are now publishing negative results also. We have a F1000 journal which publishes negative or null results as well in the medicine and pharmaceutical industry. That is also a problem, was a problem now being solved by publishers. And what are the expectations and criterias which you want? Because every research project, every, if it is a PhD project, then you might have different expectations, the criteria, or if it is related with the academic institute, they might have a different criteria. So these are the things which you need to know before starting your journey. Finding it, there are four ways, although there are many other, but four are typically what we use. One is the Web of Science, the other is Scopus, DOAJ is Directory of Open Access Journals, and the publisher's website. So these are the basic source where you find a journal. Web of Science is a basic publication information where you'll get the journal title, publisher, its ISSN number, and the contact details as well. Article titles and article abstracts are in English in Web of Science. Um, you'll also find the peer review policy, and the timelines are also mentioned. Although these are the things which you will find on the web, on the journal website as well. The scholarly content quality is also available. Website functionality, journal format, whether it's e-journal or it's a print edition, whatever the the functionality are available. Editorial board information is also available, and the author information, including the distribution, affiliation, how many editors are from which country, and who is the editor in chief. These kind of information is also available, and it really affects your publication journey. Uh, in If you are looking on Scopus, going on a Scopus website, and you are searching a journal from there, what kind of peer review policy do they have, what are the editorial policy do they have, geographical distribution of editors and authors, academic contribution to the field, and the quality which is stated in the aims and scope. So everything is mentioned in the aims and scope of the journal. If your research is related with is slightly related or it is completely related with the aims, you must submit it there. And if it is not, you must find the journal which is most accurately related with the kind of research you are doing. So this is what we get in Scopus. The other is the DOAJ indexing. This is mostly for open access journals. It has more than 19,000 journals indexed with it. It has an open access policy. So if if you're thinking to publish open access, you must visit this website before submitting your research to any journal. It has editorial processes, licensing terms, copywriting terms, author charges, which are APCs, article processing charges, and the content details as well. So these are the items which you find on DOAJ, and the Finding a Journal Publisher website. So you can use these websites for membership. You can use STM, which is the global voice of scholarly publishing. And if you are associated with any institute, so most of the institutes have subscription to journals. Most of the institutes have membership where they have tie up with multiple publishers. For example, one is Taylor and Francis Open Access Pro Publishing model, where we have partner with multiple institutes, and they uh, the author does not pay any APC charges to it. It is paid by the institute, and we have a very discounted pricing for institute as well for such models. Other than this, most of the institutes in India and abroad have subscription of Taylor and Francis. They can read, they can publish in any of the Taylor and Francis journal depending on their subscription business. How to how to assess the quality on of a journal, because this is one major issue when you are submitting or when you are publishing your research. um, you should visit a website of the publisher where you will find the published articles, the editorial board, and it is different for each journal. Society affiliation, the indexing. Indexing means Scopus, Web of Science, PubMed, DOAJ, all the indexing are mentioned. IFAs, editorial policies are also mentioned in each journal website. All the pages are there. And the Web of Science and impact factor, ranking, time of publishing, all these things have to be made, like you need to assess all these things before even starting to submit or writing your research paper. Choosing a good fit for your research, it depends on the content, board, call for paper. Every journal has a call for paper time. They ask for different papers, and they have a scope and aims statement, which is somehow um, related to, if it is related with your research. There are special issues as well, which have a different scope, and if your research is fitting with their scope, you can search, you can find that journal for your research. This is the example. This is one of Taylor and Francis journal and also and the annals of it. You can see it has a, so in any Taylor and Francis journal you'll find these matrices. One is the general matrices, aims and scope, instruction for author, society information, journal information. If it has an spatial issue, editorial board, news and call for papers, all these things are available here. And if you go on the aims and scope, how it is related with your aims and scope, then you can go and submit your research here. One more example is here. So this journal is inviting innovative articles that advance geographic knowledge, and this journal is confronts topical issues related to social, cultural problem, and all the journals have different aims and scopes. You need to assess whether your research is compiling with the aims of and scope of that particular journal. Again, one more example where you'll see editorial board and the journal links here. Another important issue is predatory publishing. Predatory journal pose a serious threat uh, to the researcher as well as to the community. And recently, there have been some steps to avoid these kind of predatory publishing. UGC has taken certain steps. Indian government has taken certain steps. Department of Science and Technology has released a list of these kind of journals. You should also be aware of these kind of literary publishers. I'm sharing a next slide on how to identify and how to avoid these kind of publishers. So this is a spectrum of predatory behaviors for journals. You'll see um, a mark here with high risk and low risk. It depends on their quality. So a good quality journal has a lowest risk, and fraud journals or predatory journals, these are the basic which you should see. You should compare whenever you are finding a journal. uh, so typical markers are non-existing or improper peer review. They generally a peer review takes at least 30 to 45 days minimum time, because if it is, there has to be at least two people, two peer reviewers who are agreeing with what you are saying, and if they don't have any um, comment or any suggestion on your research, only then your paper will be published. And
Yeah,
most of the researchers, and we provide them enough
when
time to
any ஒரு
read
முஸ்லீம்
and
பையன்
publish. So this is,
வந்து இந்தியன் இந்த பையன் கிளிக் பண்ணதுக்கு அப்புறம் தான் சொல்றேன்.
and when does a journal become deceptive? When it is lying about its true purpose or misleading authors.
Yep.
So this is the major reason why your research is rejected, because if the research is not getting aligned with the purpose of its aims and scope, it will be rejected. And if a journal is accepting any kind of research, it will be marked as a predatory journal. So there are journals which I have seen, and you must have seen, that they are publishing all kind of research, any whatever you are giving, and they're publishing it is. They have a low quality peer review, which is the good editorial practices, and use of aggressive and indiscriminate practices. Unclear about publishing charges, lack of satisfactory archives, and the editorial board is inactive. These are the things that you must check before submitting to any journal. Um, and how to avoid publishing in one. So before you since you are a researcher, you are doing research already. So before doing your research, also you need to research on the journal. Also, you need to check the website, see if the journal is indexed in respective indices. There are journals which say that they are indexed, but when you go on DOAJ or when you go on Scopus, you don't find the name of that particular journal or that particular company. You should see the review of published article and make sure that they have clear and robust editorial policies. Talk to your colleagues, your libraries. If you don't have a subscription of that particular journal, maybe it might be a predatory journal. And use the Think Check Submit toolkit. I'll share that link with you. With Dr. Korean, I'll share, and or maybe in the email I'll share that link with you, so that you can find and use this tool for your journal selection. And what if you accidentally submit to one before publication? Try to officially withdraw the paper. Keep all communication over email. Avoid signing a copyright agreement with any such journal. Do not pay any fees before the article is published or even it is accepted. Contact a new journal, a reputed journal, which where you think that okay, this research is more suitable and it is a more prestigious journal. And after publication, even if you have published, ask the paper to be retracted. This is one thing that you can do, since you are the author of the research. Your research deserves a better place, or it should be in a very well reputed journal. These are some resources which you can use. One is the Taylor and Francis Indexing Overview, Web of Science Master List, Journal Citation Report, Scopus, a website named Publishers, Think, Check, Submit. These are the things that you can use for finding the best journal, finding the truth. We also have a website where you can insert your abstract, and based on that abstract, it will give you a list of journals where you can publish, you can submit your research. So I'll also share that with you in this link. And this is it from my side about how to find a journal. If you have any queries, please free to ask them.
Thank you, Dr. Pranav. I think it was a very informative session. So I think you people, all our researchers, all our faculties, you can, any doubt regarding the publishing in Taylor and Francis, you can ask directly to Dr. Pranav directly, and he is in the group also, WhatsApp group also. You can ask there also regarding any doubt. And I think he is talking about some mail. I will forward to everyone's email IDs regarding the tool, everything as I get from him. Okay. If any doubt or anything, you can ask. I think in chat box questions are there, Dr. Pranav. We can just check the chat box.
What is the APC and what about Taylor and Francis? So APC is article processing charges. For any open access article, there are few, because since it is open access, it is free to read to anyone. But there are charges related with the article, which includes it putting it on the website. It will be available forever. So that is one charge that is covered in APCs. There are processing charges, which include all the publication processes. So all that it is including in the APC charges. Taylor and Francis has around 400 open access journals, which are fully open access. Also, if you have a requirement on a particular journal, there are open select articles. Around 1,200 such journals are available, where you can make any of the article open access and free to read to the public. This is the open access scenario with us. And if we retract, the other question, if we retract paper from, can we submit? Yes, you can. So if you retract paper from any other journal, you can submit it to whatever journal you like, and it depends on the time of processing. Generally, the time taken for any journal to publish is between 45 to 60 days. This is the normal time. Some there are rapid publication, there are fast publication also, like the product that we have F1000, which publishes in, I believe, less than 30 days. It depends on the peer review process as well. If so, and we are launching a new series, which is the Elevate series, where we are aiming to publish an article in less than 15 days by engaging more peer reviewers with us. So that is the process which we are currently following. Journal format. I'm sorry, I am missing this question. Or can you please reframe it? Is there any free plagiarism checker software? I doubt, sir. I don't think there is a free tool for this thing. We all use the paid one, and we use the paid one only. How do we find the scope of journal? What was I saying? Some journal. Sir, the scope of journal is generally mentioned on the website. When you go on the website of any journal, they clearly mention what is the aim and what is the scope of this journal. And if your research is not related with the aim and scopes, they might not submit they might not accept your research. Are there journals available for core bio? Yes, there are, and we have journals on bioinformatics. I'll share them in the link here. I will share the link here with you also. Paper publication Scopus is considered the best, or any other journal index better than Scopus. So, ma'am, so Nehal, uh, Scopus is a directory, just like any other directory. Scopus is a directory which has a biggest database of journals. Impact factor is something which people consider. Uh, Site score is again one thing which people consider. So there's nothing called best journal. It all depends on what kind of research you have. There are multiple researches. Even Nobel laureate publishes in such journals, and it get published. And there are times when um, a journal which has a low impact factor or a low site score has a very great research available with them. So it all depends on what kind of research or what kind of output you are. So image used in an article. So if it is not your research, there are copyright policies for each journal. There are certain each journal has its own copyright criteria. There are multiple copyrights streams where you can, in some you can ask the author to share it with you, or you can ask the publisher also to, or even if you are using a website with citation, or you are mentioning the author, I think in some copyright streams it is available that you can quote an author and use that image. So impact factor is considered good of Thomson of Reuters. I am sorry, it is not. I am not able to tell this Thomson or Reuters. Impact factor is available on the website, and it gets changed. It is not something. So right now, for some journals we have 2021 impact factor. For some journals we have 2022 impact factor. It gets changed each year, so you can't say for which journal and which impact factor you are referring to. So if we would like to collaborate and publish papers, whether any discount available in the open, yes, there are multiple discounts, multiple waivers available for publishing open access. If you are talking to institutional level, we provide institutional discounts. We have a open access OA Pro membership where we are giving up to 50% discounts on open access. If you are an individual author, you can ask for waivers, you can ask for discounts uh, depending on your research. Our editorial board and the commercial board, they decide on the discount policies, but there are waivers and discounts available on open access publishing. In fact, there are a few journals where we are which are fully open access, but we are not charging any fees for them. One of them is this. I'm sharing the link here. Also, I'm sharing the drug discovery portfolio of Taylor and Francis, where you can um, find journals related with your subject areas. Um, if you would like to collaborate and publish with them, it would be beneficial to publish in open access journal, as they don't have it. Most of the open access journals are now having impact factor, at least with Taylor and Francis. We have, and if the impact factor is not available, you can check other parameters like the site score, the publishing time, their indexing, all these things. If you are able to find that and matching with your research, you can go and publish in Access. What is the maximum review period for a journal? How long to publish? Open access papers, if I particularly talk about Taylor and Francis, it takes less time than a non-open access paper. But the average publishing time, although it depends on journal to journal, and it is mentioned on each journal's website that how much time it takes, but 25 to 45 days is the average time, which is the average time which you take from first decision to to publishing your journal, your art research. So this is the average time. Yeah.
So I think questions are over. So if any more questions you can ask here or in the group. I will share every link, every materials,
Right.
and Dr. Pranav can also share. I think you can share in the group every links, every materials, so that I think it is better to share in the group so that they can easily access to that, because here in the chat box they may not access live. You can share all in the group also. Yes.
So I have also mentioned my email ID. If you have any questions, you can send an email to me. I'm available in the group also. Dr. Korean has added me today. So if you have any questions related to publishing, please feel to ask.
I think some question about UGC approved journal is there.
So UGC, see, Taylor and Francis has more than 5,000, 4,000 journals we have, and UGC has a list of our UGC releases a list every year based on their requirements. So I would say most of or all of us, even I don't know, do they have a list of all Taylor and Francis journals or not? But yes, all most of the Taylor and Francis journals are in the in the UGC list. Most of them are in Scopus, PubMed, or whatever the best indexing it is. It is the second largest company of publishing, and the other branches of Taylor and Francis are Routledge, CRC Press, Dove Press, F1000. So these are all Taylor and Francis products, and your research get published in Taylor and Francis, it's good for us, and it's very beneficial for your career as well.
So I think you will be, Dr. Pranav, you will be providing the certificates to the participants, is it? So
Yes. So I think based on the email registration link that you shared with us,
yes.
I'll be sharing them.
Okay. So shall we wind up? Hello. If there is no more questions, we can wind up this talk and go to drug designing. You can be here, Pranav. You can be here in the workshop.
I'll leave. Yes.
Yes. So I think Dr. Princey can hand over. And any doubt is there, you can ask in the group. Dr. Pranav is there in the group also. You can ask in the group, and I think his mail ID he has shared, so you can ask there also, officially there also. So I think Dr.
Thank
Princey,
you.
you
Thank
can.
you, everyone. Yeah.
Dr. Princey, you can hand over.
Yeah, okay, sir.